Okay, looks like we're pretty much all set. Let's start. Doesn't matter for a few seconds beforehand. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope you're all doing okay today. I know that I am. Thanks a lot. We are entering a heat streak right here in Nice, France, and I swear it is toasty. So anyways, my friends, before we continue, we are going to start off by going over to the computer like we always do. Let's take a look at a quick 15-second recap of what we did yesterday, and then we'll tackle our day from there. So what did we do yesterday? Well, we added colors to these little bubbles, these little planets, I like to call them. So we had to do 2 coats, right? You can't really tell by looking at the recap. We had to do 2 coats of that. And then we added a little bit of red paint just to give it a little bit of depth. So today, what are we going to do? Well, today we're going to do a lot of splattering. That's right. We are going to do some splattering on these 3 posters. And then eventually we are going to, I would like to do 2 colors. I'd like to start off like, for example, on the turquoise blue, I would like to put some of this purple splattering and then on top of that some black. And then on the purple, I would like to do some turquoise splattering and then some black on top of that. So, but the first thing we have to do first is cut out some newspaper to hide this. Then we'll put our posters on the floor, and that's when we'll do the splattering. I'm going to get everything ready first. So I'm going to just start off by cutting off the part that will be hiding the white here. And then I'll get all 3 of the, all 3 of the colors that will be splattered done first. Like that we can just go quickly as possible. So let me get my compass out. There we go. I'm going to start off, I guess this was the first, just try to get the size of the first circle. I'm going to make the paper a little bit bigger because where can I do this? I need a little flat area, so let me just move things around for a few seconds. There we go. So let me just get the first circle together here. And we'll cut that out. I'm going to do all 3 sheets of paper together. Hopefully that will work out. There we go. And then I'm going to make the smaller one right here. Again, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than the actual circle. There'll be a black edge around these anyways, so hopefully I can get all this together in one shot. Not sure how far deep this goes, about something like that. I don't know. I'm going to eyeball this. Hopefully it will work. Doesn't look like it's going to. Okay, so screw it. I'll make this in 2 different cuttings instead of 1. Looks like it would have been easier anyways. Looks like I was hoping to cut a very small corner here. But anyways, so let me get my scissors right here. Okay. And I'll cut out these 3 little circles to protect our canvas from getting splattered to death. There we go. So we got that done. I'm going to need some more newspaper, so I'll just go back here in my little kitchen area where I have a lot of material stored. There we go. So Let me just bring over camera number 1 like this. And I'll bring it down like that. There you go. Like that, you can see what I'm doing. Let me just get rid of the staples in this newspaper. I'll do that first. There we go. Move this out of the way. And then we have this smaller circle, as I was saying. I would say like right about like that. So I don't need all this paper. Let me just grab three sheets. That should be plenty. There we go. So boy, this pencil sure doesn't leave much of a mark on this newspaper. There we go. Let me make sure it's the right size. It is. There we go. And I'll just cut this out. I had a hard time seeing that pencil mark. There we go. There. So now we have our protective papers all together. And I'll set these guys aside. Get rid of that. And now what are we going to do? I guess I'm going to get the paint ready. So let me just move this over here. Very good. So I'm going to do the paint in these little plastic cups. I think that will be the best thing to do. So I am just going to come back here. I'm going to get this camera out of the way to avoid getting paint on the lenses. There we go. So I guess I'm going to start off with the purple, the mauve. So for that, what do I need? I need my purple paint, which I'm going to dilute it with water. And since I'm going to be splattering a lot of paint all over the place, maybe I'll just tie up my hair to avoid that getting in the way and driving me crazy. So let's do this. Pull it up in some sort of like a Japanese bun. There we go. And let's work on this paint. I'm not going to need a huge amount. Well, but I want to make sure that it's not too dark. So I'm going to start off with this amount of the purple, well, maybe just a whisker more. There we go. There's going to be a lot of loss in all this, something I hate doing, but there's no choice when you're splattering like that. It's good to have a large enough amount so that you don't run out in the middle of if you're splattering. So the purple, I'm going to be doing both turquoise green, turquoise blue. I'm going to do that light mauve of purple splattering first, and then I'll do some slightly smaller streaks in black on top of that. At least that's what I have in mind. Maybe I'll change my mind as we go along. So here's a white, brand new jar because we ran out of white paint yesterday. So I am going to put quite a bit because I do want my mauve to be kind of like this darker of the two here, what I use for the shadowing. But it's going to be approximate. We'll see. We'll see how we do as we go along here. Up. There we go. And I'm going to be using, I think, this kind of a brush first to do my splattering. So I can use that same brush to mix in the water, get it to be the right consistency so that it splatters nicely. And maybe a thinner one like this one here, which is slightly narrower for the black streaking on top of it. We'll see. Let's try that out. I'll put those to soak. I am going to add just a little bit of water to go a little bit quicker. There we go. I probably need a little more than that. I would say something like that. I'm going to mix this with you guys on camera number 1 right now. So let me just switch over like this. I'll bring the camera down. There we go. So there's the purple, and I'm just going to blend all this together. Try to get everything to be some nice homogeneous purple. There we go. Lavender color. That is a pretty color. It looks a little thin, but I think as I blend in the actual paint, it should thicken a little bit. That is definitely the color I was looking for. Of course, I want this to stay nice and opaque when it dries, so now the question is, am I going to have enough right there? Am I going to have enough right there? To be honest with you, I think I'm not going to take the chance. I am going to come back over here and make just a little bit more, because I do have 2 of these posters I want to use the same paint on. So it's just going to take a few more seconds. I'm going to just add a little bit more of the purple paint. And then maybe twice that same amount of white. So let me clean off my knife. There we go. And let's get the white paint in there now. So we said twice the amount of the purple. Let me just, that looked pretty good. And then I'm going to add just a whisker more. And just like before, I'm going to come over to camera number 1 and we'll, ciao, à bientôt. Tu sais pas quand il vient à la maison, le fiston? D'accord. Ciao. So, got that together. And so let's go back to camera number 1. Let's check out what we just got here. A little bit of the dark and the light. Let's blend this in and get it to be a little bit thicker. I might have to add a little bit of water. I forgot to do that. But we'll start blending this in first, and then we'll just add the water afterwards. I mean, you don't want this, when you splatter, you don't want it to be too thin either. Otherwise, it'll just be like a bunch of little droplets. And that is not what you want. not what I want at least. I want streaks of colors. So it does have to be a certain thickness for that. And I have to admit, this is the kind of situation where everything has to do with, you know, luck, I guess. I don't know what you'd call it. There we go. So we got a lot. It's a little thicker. We have, I think, the right amount of quantity that I'll need to do my splattering. So we can put this aside and we'll pick this up when we're in the actual mode of attacking our splattering. So that is our first color. And then the next color, what did we say? We said some sort of either the turquoise blue or the turquoise green to go on this purple background. So which one am I going to do? The one that shows up in front of me first. I guess it'll be this one, the turquoise green. This jar is just about empty as well. I have another jar full, so it's no big deal. Just thinking out loud. So this is again going to bring me again to my subject where I kind of bitch quite often, is that the guys who manufacture these kind of jars of paint, I mean, how do you get the last inch and a half of paint in a jar like that? You can't get to the bottom here. I have a spoon I use, it barely goes in there, doesn't fit. I have a wooden spoon, fits even less. So the only way I can get it is with my knife, I guess, down here. And to do that, I get it all over the paint all over my fingers. So what I usually do with these larger jars like this, have the same kind of narrow opening, I just cut them open and transfer the paint into a wider jar. That's what I usually do. But I'm not going to do that today because I don't have any wide jars for a color like this, which I barely and rarely use. This actually was given to me from a painter who just moved out of his studio. And that's why I just discovered these colors only a few weeks ago. These are not colors I usually use, but it's been the greatest thing to discover new colors, new paints. I hope I'm going to have enough here. Can't really tell with this jar. Maybe I should cut it open and grab the bottom of that. So let me bring camera number 1 over again. You can witness the operation that was going to take place. I'm going to move this guy out of the way one more time. And I'm going to try not to cut my fingers off. As I cut this jar open. So I'll just zoom in a little bit like that. Boy, this is really thick plastic. All right. There we go. So now we can scoop some of this out. Of course, I'm going to have way too much, but it doesn't matter. I couldn't reach it anyway, so I did have to find something to scoop this out with. But it does bother me because now I'm going to have a lot of waste, which I can't stand. So we have a lot right there. There's a little bit at the bottom left here, but tough luck. I don't have a little container I could put it in and save it. So that's the way it goes. So let me just clean off my knife right here very quickly. Actually, I'm going to bring this camera over here. Bring it up so you can see my little kitchen area. And instead of making a mess here, I'm just going to very quickly go to the back room and clean off my knife. Way over here, my little sink. There we go. Get some fresh water. And let me just take a look and see if I don't have a little jar that I could put the rest of that turquoise in. Something I can seal, but I don't. I have a jar, but it's way too big for the little bit of amount that's left, so screw it. We'll just write it off. So let me get rid of this. Push that to the side. Let me get back to camera number 2 here. And I'll move the camera over here. So let me look at this and see what, yes, I'm going to want to make this a little lighter as well. So I'm going to add some white paint to that. Add some water, of course, to it as well. I've made a lot there, man. But that's the way it goes. Okay. So let's rinse off once again our rag, and then we'll blend in the white and the turquoise together on camera number 1. And try to keep it thick as well, especially since it's going to be on purple, which is kind of a dark background. I'm not too sure how all this works. I've never really used these colors for splattering before, but I have a feeling it's going to work out all right, keeping my fingers crossed. So again, what brush am I going to use for that? I have one very similar than the one I was using for the purple. This one here, maybe, will this work? I think it might. So let me just spill a little bit of water in here, just to go a little quicker. There we go. And I'll come over to camera number 1, bring it down so we can blend this in together. So let me zoom back a little bit. Go. So the white, the turquoise green, and then let's just blend the whole thing in together. It's very thick, but I'm sure with the amount of water I put in there, it'll work out just fine. We'll just blend all this in together. Then we'll take the posters, put them on the floor, put the cache that we cut out at the beginning of the show, and then start splattering carefully. And hopefully everything will look really cool and I won't blow this. Up, get more of this light white right there. This brush is, the hairs are a lot softer than my other brush for the purple, so I'll have to keep that in mind when I splatter. Now, will it make a difference? It might. It might. But we're going to start off with the purple and we'll see how that goes. Worst comes to worst, if it looks really good with the purple, I might just wash off the purple from that first brush and use that rather than take a chance with this other brush, which I have a feeling I won't have the same amount of control of my splattering. So this looks like it's getting to be the right texture. Definitely the right color, I think, right? Bring this up. Would be the right color, I guess, to go on this splattering on this background, right? I think that'll look kind of nice. And then we'll add a little bit of black paint on top of that. Give it maybe a little bit of depth. So, I think we are just about ready to go. You see, this is splattering all over just by wiping off the edge of this brush. So that's why that's why I might not use this brush for the splattering. So let's bring this back up. I'll switch cameras just until we get ready. Oh yes, what I wanted to do is get the black paint ready as well to splatter on top of that. So I guess we have one more session of getting the paint ready. Let me make some room here. And let me find one more of these little containers. First, I'm gonna just get rid of the older paint that was in here. It just peels right off since it's a non-porous object. Acrylic paint just comes off very easily. There we go. Well, maybe I should say fairly easily. Okay. So, that looks pretty good. So before I go any further, I am going to do what I usually do, is a quick little checkup. Make sure that there are no drop frames, and there aren't any. Everything's to be going very well on the stream. Didn't forget to turn on my microphone, so everything's okay. So let's get the black paint right here. And we'll do the same thing as before. Get my knife out. And just make a fairly good amount of black paint. Now, if I make too much, it's no big deal. I can just pour it back in here. The water will evaporate very quickly with this heat. The thing is what quantity do I need for what I want to do? I'll just make a lot more. There we go. Let's not be too stingy, since we can always grab what we need afterwards. So, again, I am just out of force of habit going to clean off my knife before we continue. There we go. Go. Okay, sorry, but we do have to take care of our materials. I mean, this knife, I've had it for like 30 years, so I really love it. Want to keep it as long as possible. Like that, they can bury it in my grave with me. How romantic. Okay, so, and I guess I can use this smaller brush, because that is the one I'm going to be using. Oops, man, did I put too much water in there? I think so. Let me get rid of some of that. Let's start off with this amount of water. And even that seems like an awful lot. Okay, let's blend it in. So this, I'm just going to do this like this on camera number 2. No point of going over here and doing it together. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do what I'm doing, just blending everything very quickly here. And I have a feeling I put too much water. Just kind of stupid of me. Definitely too much water. Let's just blend this all, and then I'll add more black. It doesn't matter. Whoops, there we go. Let's make a mess. Yeah, I'm going to add a little more black because I kind of blew it. So let's just get one more big scoop in there. Should be all set. I mean, this is the phase that's going to be the longest of our stream, because once I start splattering, within 5 minutes, we'll be done for the day. So the prep work is what's taking most of the time. Now, when I do my posters, usually if I do a series of posters exactly like the same size in this, I'll set all 3 down and splatter them. I think today, since these are going to a gallery actually, and they're done on nice paper, I've actually put 2 coats of orange on these bubbles. I mean, I put in a little more care than I would for a poster that I'm going to glue in the streets. I think I'll splatter one at a time, move it over, splatter the second one, move it over. Like that, I'm sure they'll do a good job. So there we go, got blended in some more black paint, and it still looks awfully liquid. I'm going to leave it like that though, and before I splatter this black, I will try it on the floor to make sure that it splatters the way that I have in my mind. Okay, that said, let's move this camera over and get that ready so that we can set our pieces down and splatter them. I am also going to get the staples out of these paintings, get them ready to take them off the wall. There we go. There will be a black border all the way around. So if there is some white showing from my staples come off very easily because I put them in kind of crooked. I really use one side of the staple in the paper, in the wall, on the canvas and the wall, just so I can, so they come off much easier, just like this. So I guess I'll start off with this guy, why not, since I'm right here. There we go. Okay, very good. I'll bring camera number 1 down here. That is where the action is going to take place. Right here on the floor. I guess I have plenty of room to do that. Usually like I said, I usually do several at a time. So, let us just hide the parts that we don't want to splatter, like that. I don't think I need to put any Scotch tape or anything. Maybe I'll just weigh it down with with a little jar like that to make sure it doesn't blow over. So, how does that look? Should I zoom in just a little bit more, just like that? So let me just think this out for 1 second. See the path I want to take. Okay, 4 streaks, I think. I'm just going to come back here, get rid of the excess water on my brush. And actually, I guess I'm going to do, since I'm going to do one at a time, I can just do the purple and the black immediately, move it to the side, purple, black, turquoise, black. Do it like that, I guess. Okay. Okay, very good. So let's get this paintbrush soaking with that purple paint. And let's switch to camera number 1. Keep our fingers crossed. And hopefully we'll get what we want. Seems to bother me. Okay, so it did move as expected, no big deal. I'll put this jar back on there. Very good. So there's one. Yes, don't have total control of what's going on, and that is totally normal and absolutely fine. So let me just step back, take a look. There is going to be right down here my nuclear guy, so that is going to work out okay as well. So let's leave that like that. Don't have total control over everything. Gonna switch to my black paint now. I'm gonna start with here. Okay, just like that. I obviously made way too much black. Doesn't matter. Perfect. There we go. Don't want too much, as I mentioned earlier. Just a little bit of little streaks. Just like that. So, that is basically what I wanted. I can take these protections off now. There we go. Move that to the side. Fold that in half so I don't walk on it, which I probably will anyways. And we can move this over to the side so it can dry overnight. So there's number 1. Let's get to another. Let's take off. Did I already do this staple? Yes, I did. It's just take off the staples on the top here. This is the turquoise blue. Very good. So I'll set this down just like the other one right there. I will put the cache in its place, just like that, just like that. Okay. Maybe add a little bit of weight there so it doesn't move like it did earlier. Grab my purple paint again, which I made just the right amount. Switch over to camera number 1, and let's see what happens now. Oh. That looks nice. Yes, I like it when it moves out like that. That and little rivers. There we go. Then our last little corner right here. Beautiful. Maybe I'll make this one a little bit wider here, like that. And on the top left-hand corner, there we go, just a little bit wider. There. Again, I'm going to have my guy right here. Maybe I'll just cheat a little bit and go like that, just to get a little bit of purple down in this corner here. Very good. Now let's back that up with a little bit of the black. There we go, just a little streak. Whoa, that was a big streak. Didn't want it that much. That's the way it goes. I have no control. There we go. So, that looks pretty good. And you know what we're going to do, because we are stubborn and we're professionals. I am going to go back on top of this black and go with some purple on top of it. Why not? Right back here. Okay, like that. It's a little more discreet, little less black. And that looks pretty damn good. All right, so let me move this again. Move the cache out of the way. Just like that. Move this baby over here so it can dry. Very cool. And then let's get the last guy off the wall. What did I do with my knife? Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There we go. That staple out of there. That staple out of there. So where are we at here? We're on camera number 2. Very good. Very good, very good. I'll come back to the dual cameras. I'll set down the purple paint right there. This painting I won't even have to move. I'll just leave it there so it dries till tomorrow. Very good. And this one we said we were going to go with our turquoise paint. And I said maybe I would rinse off my brush to make sure that I'm using the same brush since it worked that well. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to switch over and go to the sink once again and wash off this purple brush to use the turquoise. There we go. There we go. Let me just use a little soap to make sure there's no purple hiding at the base of the brush. It is, of course. There we go. That was a good move. Fill up my jar with a little bit of water. There we go. It was really weird. I couldn't post on Instagram today. I could pick my picture that I wanted to put. Then I got to the filters. And then when I actually went from the filters to publish, it wouldn't go. Wouldn't work. Don't know why. So I cleared off the cache. I restarted my phone. Nope, nothing going. So I'm just going to assume that it's something that has to do with the Instagram website. So, how does that look? Looks like it's awfully dark. There we go. Got the camera back online. Okay, very good. So, where are we here? We are getting our turquoise paint. That's what we're doing. Just gonna mix it in a little bit. Sure that the brush is nice and soaked with it. Very good. Let's get our cash down now. There. There. Set my little jar on top. Oops, that moved a little bit. How's this doing? Moved a little bit too much too. Okay, there we go. Oops, God. There we go. That looks just about right. Okay. So, let's get back to camera number one. There's that knife. It was in my back pocket. Okay. Back to camera number one. And let's get our final splattering done. I hope this is going to work too, as I've never used this color, as I mentioned earlier. Ooh, I like the way it splatters though. I like it when it fans out though, like that. There we go. Just a little bit like that. And then our corner here, there we go. Maybe just there. Step back. Maybe make this just a whisker wider, like that. No, I guess that looks okay. Don't want to, okay, I can't help it. There we go. So we got that done. Now let's get the black, our last little streaks. Now we know we don't need very much on the brush. Just want a little streak, so let's try that. Well, we want a little more than that. That looks good. Right? That looks good. And how about that? Maybe just a few drops there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like it. I like it. Now, just like before, we are going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to grab a little bit of this turquoise again. I'm not going to splatter it. I'm just going to drop it. Just like that. Okay, so I cheated a little bit. But I think I had to for it to look good. And then we'll just add a little bit of black like that. So, stepping back, taking a look. Let's not forget, this is just the background. So, let's not be too fussy. I think it looks pretty damn good. It's going to look quite a bit different between now and tomorrow. It's going to change quite a bit. Let me get my black paint back in the jar so there's no loss. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do that with the turquoise, but no big deal. So, got that away. Soak my brushes. I will clean those as soon as we're off air. So, very good. Grab this. Take off the cash before the paint dries. Move these guys closer. There we go. That's just for the film, of course. So we can have all three of these guys on the recap. There we go. And I'll just switch over to camera number 1 for a few seconds. Like that, I have some materials to edit. And hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to rebroadcast a little bit. So I am just going to come back here for a second because I do see something I want to fix. And today is the day to do it. Otherwise I'm screwed. And it's going to go back to that first poster over here where I want to get rid a little bit of that black splattering. Yeah, this part right here. So I am going to try to, with a little luck, there we go. Just wanted to add a little bit of purple to hide some of that black. There we go. Now I'm a happy camper. Let's take a look one more time at our 3 little posters. There we go. And that concludes today's work. Awesome. So my friends, thanks very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed our splattering session. Tomorrow, what are we going to do? Well, we're probably going to start tackling the center pieces, or maybe lay out the white of the nuclear head that's going to go at the bottom of these posters. So anyway, so join me tomorrow. I think tomorrow is Thursday, so well, we'll be doing our show in French. So it's perfect for you to brush up on your French from high school and college. And anyway, so join me tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. I'm going to leave you like usual with 2 things. I'm going to leave you with my schedule and by saying, ciao mes amis.